to the Retrograde
video game podcast, where this week we really attempt to land the plane.
Oh man, my name's Andrew Bascom. With me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Burger, Aaron Worth.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mikey Burger, Aaron
Oh,
Worth.
like Sully Sullenberger?
Yes.
Mikey Burger. See, Sully Sullenberger
Yeah.
is insane.
It is.
That's his name,
It's
right?
crazy. And really, we should look at his parents and blame them for that. They had the choice.
He's made great decisions throughout his life. That's what he's famous for. His parents famous for bad decisions.
He shouldn't have decided to fly through that flock of geese, if we're being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe shouldn't have had a lifelong vendetta against geese.
You gotta let it go, dude. You gotta let it go at a certain point.
As people that are surrounded by Canadian geese, those fuckers, they will try and kill you.
They absolutely will.
Yeah.
They suck. They
There's
really
no
suck.
way you can't say it wasn't intentional.
You got the pilot, Sully Sullenberger,
Yes.
and the goose, Sucky Suckenberger.
Goosey Goosenberger.
Goosey Goosenberger.
Mikey Burger. All right. So we're going to be doing Pilotwings today. We just did the gameplay over on our YouTube channel. So go check that out if you want to see us play Pilotwings.
For the first time.
For the first time, we'd never played it before.
And we got a little bit addicted to it.
Yes. Oh, man, I just remembered that I failed that last thing.
Oh, I haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Of course, obviously, in order to see it in action, you got to go to youtube.com/retrograde podcast and see it.
What did I blow? You'll find out.
You'll find out. What exploded on the runway? You'll find out.
Did we skydive correctly? No, and you'll find out how.
Yeah, that's a big no. Yeah. Weirdly, okay, if you're asking me to do three things,
okay,
and to do them well: 1, fly and land a plane; 2, fly and land a jetpack,
yeah,
and 3, fall correctly.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be able to fall correctly via skydiving. That was by far the hardest of the mini games to do.
I think to the point that we can admit we didn't really get it. I don't think we fully understood what
I don't think
doing.
we fully got it. And let's table I think our conversations about Pilotwings for just a little second here, because we'll get to our conversations about the ins and outs and what the game is all about in a little bit. Obviously, like we said, if you want to go check out the gameplay portion of it, I think it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun playing. Pilotwings on the Super Nintendo. Go check that out on YouTube. In the meantime, Andrew, you know what? Last year we were talking about some of our most anticipated games. In the beginning of this year, we were talking about some of our most anticipated games. One of them came and went, and I haven't brought it up on this podcast at all.
Was it from your list?
From my list. Oh. And I was aware of it. I knew that it came out, and people who follow me, fucking like
your followers,
kiss my fucking feet every so often. People who just lick my boots, my apostles. Yeah. And I don't say that lightly. No. I don't want this responsibility.
You don't compare yourself to Christ lightly?
I don't do it lightly. I know the weight that it carries when I compare myself to some people's lords, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But my apostles' lord is Mikey Burger.
You already have the mustache. I didn't even think about that.
What? Because of Sully. Yeah. I could basically
because of Sully. That's why you have the mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm thinking about dyeing it gray soon. Actually,
you should.
What a weird look that would be.
Can I ask you this question? Which is a weird thing to say when you don't know the question I'm going to ask. Is do you have a plan?
I didn't say I was going to answer it.
Do you have a plan for how long you're going to have the mustache for?
I think about that a lot, Andrew.
Is this the rest of your life?
Honestly, it's getting to the point where I've had this one for about 4 years, 5 years now.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
So I don't know. It might be.
Might be the rest of your life.
It might be the rest of my goddamn life.
Yes, because I'm totally okay with the idea that you kind of stick to a thing, and that's your thing that you're known for. Or you mix up all the time. Like every month it's something different, hair, colors, or facial hair, whatever it is. Because it is crazy when somebody's like, I had a mustache from when I was 21 till I was 50, and then I shaved it. And then for the next 4 years, I didn't have a mustache. I'm like, that's insane.
Well, Howie Mandel had curly hair and no goatee. And then one day he shaved his head and grew a goatee.
That's true. That's very true. I didn't think about that. So
maybe one day.
When you think of Howie Mandel, you close your eyes. Which Howie Mandel do you think of?
Oh, it's shaved head with the goatee.
That is.
There's this weird thing, and I will talk about this most anticipated game in a little bit, but there's an important thing on my mind, which is when I first, I watched, like the rest of us, I grew up watching Bobby's World.
Oh, yes.
I knew about Howie Mandel.
Yes.
I remember seeing trailers for Just for Laughs and stand-up comedy and stuff. I'm pretty sure they got Just for Laughs, the festivals.
Yeah, it's a big comedy festival in Montreal, but it's it's one of the biggest in North America.
Yeah, and there's a TV show in Canada primarily, I think, where they would feature some of the stand-up acts from Just for Laughs. And they showed at one point this guy who just had one of the the pork pie hats or whatever they were, and like a goatee, and he was like really whatever, and he was featured everywhere. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy's pretty good. And I didn't realize that in my mind, I believed that he and Howie Mandel were two different people. I didn't know who this guy was until I saw them call him Howie Mandel, and I was like, fuck.
It's a Charmander Charizard situation.
It's very, how so?
Well, because they're clearly of the same lineage, but they are different.
They are very different.
Oh, they're evolved.
It is somewhat of an evolution, for sure.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
Money.
Money makes him
I think
evolve.
all of a sudden he's just got money now.
All of a sudden he gets money and that rubber glove on the top of his head explodes.
I was going to mention that. I was like, was that his bit that he was doing where he puts the balloon or the glove on his head?
That was, I don't think he did that in the post shaving his head.
That's when you're poor. You have to put the glove on.
You got to put the glove on.
And then you make that glove money and you're like, no more glove for me.
What was it Marvin Hagler said? He's like, it's a lot easier to get out of bed when you don't have a plastic glove over it. The Venn diagram of interests on this podcast. The anticipated game that I wanted to talk about, and my apostles were they kept coming to me and saying, "Why haven't you talked about this game yet? You said it was your one of your most anticipated games of the year, and it's Pacific Drive, and it's a game that
came out.
It came out.
Oh.
It came out back in I think March or so, and I had it downloaded. But I think at the time that I downloaded it, I had committed to going back and trying to get into Baldur's Gate because I had beaten Disco Elysium, and I'm like, okay, the vocabulary of a point and click adventure of a this kind of RPG is it resonates with me right now. So I'm gonna go back and play it. And then I decided to kind of put Pacific Drive on hold. A couple weekends ago, I'm like, eventually I got to give this a shot. I've heard some pretty good things about it.
Oh, okay.
So I tried it out, and it is kind of fascinating in this way. So it's this game where you're just a courier in this kind of post-apocalyptic world.
I've heard of this game.
Like that. Yeah. It's not Death Stranding.
Oh, it's not Death Stranding? Oh, I thought you were talking about Death Stranding again.
Yeah.
I just like to think that every once in a while you forget what you're doing, you just start talking about Death Stranding. So
I often forget where I am and start thinking about Death Stranding. I do that a lot. But you're on some, like the game starts off, Pacific Drive does, not Death Stranding, where you're just delivering something to this kind of restricted area, and you get sucked into this restricted area, and you find out that there's no escaping it. There was some cosmic event or something that keeps you trapped. The mystery of the landscape is part of the narrative of the game, but you're in this car, and you and the car almost become bonded. It becomes like much like in Second City, where New York is the fifth character.
Sex in the City?
Sex in the City.
I think you said Second City.
I think I did say Second City.
That's why I was like, wait, what?
I meant Sex in the City.
The fifth character in Sex in the City.
Sex in the City
is Manhattan, yes.
The fifth character in Second City is Chicago.
I was going to say, the Second City is Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Yeah.
The second character, the main character, is kind of
Miranda.
The car.
Oh,
no. Your car is a Miranda, though.
Oh, she's such a Miranda.
I think. God. I don't know those references as well as everyone else does.
I should have chosen Samantha. Because then that car loves sex.
Oh,
I love sex.
Is that Samantha?
Yeah, Samantha
I honestly never got into Sex in the City.
Okay.
Do you want to? The show?
Yeah.
Or are you offering me a whole different experience?
No, you should. It's an HBO show.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's got moments that are really good. People really love it.
Apparently.
And then you really need to watch those movies, because that's when it gets really good.
And there's a reboot of the TV show, right? And then it happened or something like that?
There is a reboot of the TV show, and then there's also like a continuation of the show called
And Then It Happens?
And Then It Happens? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Samantha's not on the show for that.
Oh, fuck.
I know.
So the car is very much like a Samantha because it disappears.
Oh, very good. Yes.
No, but the element of the game is, you don't really run into other characters very often. You kind of maintain the integrity of your car. You upgrade it with things that you collect. You can kind of take different pathways through this dangerous environment that are more or less risky to get, some collectibles, some pickups, explore things that are off the beaten path, get to places quicker as opposed to just taking a road. You can take these kind of like mountainous trails that your car isn't supposed to be going on. All the while you're trying to figure out the mystery of the area that you're playing in. And I gotta say, I got it on the PS5, and immediately I was kind of enraptured by the story. It's rare that you have a game where you're so concerned about the well-being of like a vehicle. It's kind of like your your best friend and everything like that. You're upgrading it the way you would upgrade like your avatar in Elden Ring or something like that. Making sure that it's well taken care of. But I find that playing on the PS5, and I know I've talked about this all the time, but the DualSense controllers with the haptic feedback and everything, pressing the gas pedal and having that kind of like resistance as you're going up, that'll never get old to me. I still think that the haptic feedback in controllers is like one of the biggest jumps in technology that we've had generation to generation,
right?
And no one's talking about it. And I feel like I'm on crazy pills every time I talk about how well that kind of immerses you in the game. But I find that that Pacific Drive so far, very intrigued by the mystery. There's kind of like a Firewatch feel to it,
really,
where characters are talking to you from radio frequencies. You don't always know, like Atlas from BioShock, who you can trust, who you can't.
Yeah.
You don't always know why you're doing what you're doing, but you're doing it in the service of trying to find a way out of this mysterious area. And I'm kind of into it. It's a really moody game. It's cool. A little bit complicated when it comes to maintaining your vehicle and tweaking it in certain ways, but I can really see myself kind of diving into it and getting enraptured by all these little things that you have to tweak and stuff. Is this one still on your radar at all?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually. Now that you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, vehicular survival game, they call it, or something along those lines, which is like really neat. I like that.
I love the upgrading the car thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't find it as interesting when you're upgrading yourself with your suit or your gun or something like that. Your car, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because that also feels real, by the way. Like, you can't just upgrade your car.
100%.
Right? Like, I'm not going to upgrade my forearm cannon or something like that, but I am going to upgrade, I'll put a spoiler on my car.
Yeah. Or it's like,
because I'm an asshole.
Because I think it's because you're really cool and you have taste. Because why else would you put a spoiler on your car unless you had taste?
Well, because I'm going really fast and I need to help with the air
drag.
Thank you. No, what?
Drag?
Yeah.
I think
that makes sense.
Like aerodynamics?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
But I don't know. I should play more of this game to find out.
It'll explain it to you.
I'm liking it. It's the way I'll describe it is like, Armored Core came out last year as well, and a lot of people loved it. Loved the tweaks that you make to your vehicle in that sense, which is a mech. But in this game, it's just like replace mech with car, and it's really cool. I think
mech with car.
Replace mech with car.
Absolutely.
Put that as a bumper sticker. Put it on the back of your car or your mech. That would be funny.
If you put some bumper stickers on your mech, very good.
What would yours say?
Yeah. The problem is the only wordplay I have is mech, so I'm just working off of mech right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You could maybe say something like Gundam. My other mech is a Gundam.
My other mech is a Gundam.
Yeah.
That is very good. Yeah.
We got time. No, we got time.
No. Okay, well, everyone sit down for a second. Relax. Okay, everyone just shut up, because I need to think.
Yeah.
So everyone shut up.
Oh, God. Andrew, you're sweating pretty hard right now.
Okay, I know. It doesn't help when you point it out. It makes it worse.
No. I won't. But I think the listener can hear the sweat dripping off of your... And I'm just trying to...
Do you think so?
Andrew, I can hear it.
Oh, fuck.
I'm in my monitors.
Okay. That's not making it better, though.
Okay.
Anyone seen a kaiju around? Because I'm looking to kick some ass. You know what? It was worth it.
My gut tells me
Any notes?
to make fun of you.
Right.
But also, most bumper stickers make about that much sense.
It's also a good point.
Yeah, I think honestly...
What about like a coexists one, but it's all different kaijus?
I like that one.
Yeah, thanks.
If you can read this, you're about to get...
You're punching distance away or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
About to step on you. Don't step on me.
Don't step on me, and it's... Well, wait.
It's like don't tread on me.
I got
But okay, how about this? How about this? Don't tread on me.
But it's Mothra
like,
or something.
It's crossing like a tire out because there's no tire treads on a mech.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah. You can't tread on me.
I love getting 10,000 steps or something, like for my health.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's a big mech.
So on your bumper sticker, there's a picture of a mech. There's another picture of a mech. I just want to be clear.
Yeah,
because I am going to press with this after we record.
Yeah, right. We need to make, and the minimum order is 10,000. So
we're making. We got to get some extras because I think this one's going to be a hit.
Don't order the minimum. That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. Setup fees are the same across all quantities, so you want to really, really increase the quantities.
Yes. My other mech is a Gundam. I think that's the winner.
The first one.
This process has been bad for my health. I just want you to know that. I feel worse. Pacific Drive.
Pacific Drive. Yeah.
My update I have two, and the problem is I don't really know when this episode's coming out, so we just keep in mind this might be a little outdated. But road to the show. I made it to the show. I want to let everyone know.
Congratulations.
I am a Los Angeles Angel of Anaheim.
You just missed Otani.
Yeah, me and Mike Trout. Mike Trout like hugged me when I showed up. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Mike Trout?"
What position are you? First base?
Third base.
Okay. First base would be not very fun, I think.
No, when I'd be standing there the whole time, like,
Yeah.
good throw.
Yeah.
Good throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, actually, it's funny you say that too, because they were I got drafted by the Marlins. I said this.
Yes.
I was in Double-A. I was drafted in the 9th round, and they're like, "Hey, if you move to first, you could make the show." And I'm like, "I don't want to play first." And they're like, "Okay, you're traded." And I'm like,
"Great,
the fuck!" And
That's
I was
amazing.
like,
"You don't want to play for them."
I know, but then they've demoted me back down to Double-A again because I was a Triple-A, and then so it took some time. But now I'm an Angel, and the problem is now I played a couple of games, and I was like, "Yeah, now this is not as much fun. Now I'm just playing baseball with I could just play baseball with normal baseball players."
The process of getting to the show
is the fun part. The sports games in general, we should almost do a whole episode about how to fix sports games, because
Andrew, that's a great idea for an episode.
Thank you very much. Someone ran Elliot,
you want to write that down?
Yeah. Oh, he was sleeping.
And he still is.
Yeah. He's waving us off. Like, stop, shut up. Is that there's so many, if you knew anything about baseball, and I'm not doubting that the people at like San Diego Studios or whoever the hell makes it know about baseball, but there's so many processes they could have put in that would have been so much more fun.
Sure.
The fun part about baseball is they play 162 games. The grind is the fun.
Yes.
Every day, that's the fun part. It's not like football where it's like once a week, here we go, it's spotlights are on. And I think they're losing that part of it where like you can go talk to the manager. You should be able to like go like call your agent. You should be able to like, I want to be moving up in the lineup. I need a day off because my durability is not good.
Yep.
Those are the kind of things that you just miss. And even to the point that like it's building towards getting called up to the major leagues. And yet they give you like one like on-field reporter interview where they're like, "Hey, you must be really excited." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." They have 3 options. None of them matter.
Yes.
They don't even do anything.
That's very similar to like the NHL one as well, where it's like in every so often, like once every 8 games, your coach calls you in and it's just a generic coach who's just like, "You've been doing well." And you can either be like, you have one of 3 things, which is like go fuck yourself. Stay silent.
I fucked your wife.
Or I love this team no matter what. Like, it's like, what does this mean?
Yes, like I will wash your feet, sir. I love you so much. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. It is just funny. It's like egotistical teammate or selfless or whatever it is. It's so brutal. I will say, so you do talk to the manager every once in a while. And when they're saying like, "You're playing well," or "We're moving you up," or "We're moving you down," like those,
or if you have to pitch them on a new idea of bumper stickers, a new line of bumper stickers.
It's like, "Do you know anything about mechs?" And I'm like, no, I don't. Please don't ask me. I'm sweating again, just like my player is sweating. But these little sad minor league baseball offices, I like that. There's no windows. They're really sad. They nailed that part.
Yeah.
Except they have photos of children in the bag. That like their family, I assume, but they're real photos.
Oh.
And it's very odd that we look like weird like crash test dummies. And they are like real children. And then the other thing is every office, no matter who, because I've had 4 different managers now, they always have a folded triangle of the American flag with like framed with a little plaque in it.
Even on the Blue Jays?
I have not played the Blue Jays yet. But and I'm looking at them like, did all of you have relatives that died in the service? That can't all be true.
Imagine
did every one of your sons die in battle.
That becomes a dialogue option. All of a sudden, it's a totally different game. It's like, yes, will you hit a home run for them today? Go fuck yourself. Maybe.
It's like great job, coach. I promise I'll do better. B, turn wistfully and look at flag. And go like,
press F to pay respects.
They're so brave. So brave. He goes, I know. And it's console coach who is sobbing now.
This was a great meeting. You have 3 options. Shake hand, leave without saying anything, knock the flag over.
I'll hit a home run for your deceased son. I will hit a home run in objection to the war. Whoa, what the hell?
I will take a bat to the flag right now.
Hit a home run. You're going around the bases. Boo. That's so good. Yeah. God. Yeah. For the Ayatollah.
So they haven't implemented like a story mode into the MLB franchise yet?
No, it's unbelievable. And like there's clearly hints and like crumbs of stuff where if you play well enough, like the starting pitcher, he's having a good game and you hit a home run or you drive in a run later in the game, you'll see in the corner go like relationship with Haney up. And you're like, great. And you're like, what does that do? And they're like, oh, so when he pitches, sometimes you get a boost. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's like a fun thing about consistency. Cool. Yeah. But it's so like minor and not even referenced that you're like it's not something that they feature that you could like pull up the relationships
page. Look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, that's so stupid that this is like a fun thing that should happen.
Depending on your dialogue choice on Memorial Day, you're better or worse.
You schedule an off day to a war memorial near the stadium. God damn.
Your off day. You get to choose like what's playing in the players' lounge, and it's like Fox News or CNN.
Learn to play taps on bugle. That's one of my off day activities. Oh my God.
Your walk-up song is just like
proud to be American. Oh God, that is so funny.
Oh my God. Oh, fucking hell.
You stay late just to put it at half mast and you know. Oh God.
Yeah, there's a mini game of like raising the flag, and there's a bonus points if you just leave it at half mast.
Yeah, you gotta aim it just perfectly into the middle. Yeah.
Oh man. You have the option to like not play on the anniversary of September 11th or something.
Yes.
Oh man.
Kneel during anthem was an option. I didn't even why. Oh God, my face hurts. That was a lot.
You walk by your teammates and they have like Colin Kaepernick on a dartboard, and you have the option to throw it or not. And you're like, what is going on?
Take a kneel during dart game. What the hell is it? Why? I don't even get it. Doesn't make any sense.
I took a kneel during darts and threw it at Colin Kaepernick. I don't know where I stand.
So just to circle back, it's just incredibly odd that the programmers were like, every manager has this. Every manager, not like some kind of randomized. There's 3 pieces of furniture in the fucking room.
Yeah.
It's not like a randomized like flowers or, you know, like whatever, a trophy from something.
There's an IKEA lamp, a red chair, and a folded American flag.
Yeah, just crazy. So,
oh my God.
It's good. The other one was that Fortnite's good doing the Star Wars thing again for May the 4th.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. It might be a little bit of, we're going to tap into a Nick Weiger, Ukapachka thing. But is that the season's been really good with the gods and the, you know, whatever, Mount Olympus style thing. And then they brought an Avatar and you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's a little overpowered and that kind of drives you crazy a little bit. But then you're like, and now Star Wars and you're like, well then, okay, wait, what is the theme now? Like, is it Mount Olympus with lightsabers and Avatar people?
But isn't that what Fortnite is?
I guess so. I just, you know, it is sad to say, but you've been playing for enough years now that you're like, well, back in the day. I liked the idea of a theme that would carry, and then every couple months it would change and stuff like that. And I understand why they're doing it because it's popular and you're going to see a lot of people come back so they can play as Darth Vader. But it is, I would have loved to see the story finish and then have these like brief periods in between them of Star Wars. But you know, I
think for them, there's just too much money in layering theme on theme on theme.
Yes,
like why
and
not?
Disney is now a part owner of the company.
Yeah, true.
So they get the licensing for Star Wars, which is just still something I need to remind that that's a Disney property.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's still very exciting. And it's one of those ones where I won't play for like a week and then I go like play and I'm like, I can't believe this game is good.
I know. It's amazing.
I just can't believe it's good.
I guess it needed that. It needed to be a good game before it became this popular. Like at its core, it had to be a good game. My thing is like, I'm amazed. I'm not amazed that I've never played Roblox. Because it's not for me. I am amazed I've never played Fortnite. I've never played a round of Fortnite.
We've always talked about that, but we will do one of those like long episodes where all we do is gameplay, and we'll put it over on YouTube and probably on the podcast too, where you and I will just play together. Yeah. We're just going to play duos and we'll just have fun and we'll learn.
No build mode, please.
No, oh God, fuck no. Yeah. I've never touched that in years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to try it. I'm scared to try it because, you know, I know what Overwatch did to me.
I don't think this is your game. No, I think my guess would be, you'd be like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm good, but I get it. You know what I mean?
I feel like that because I played PlayerUnknown, like PUBG, and it was good, and I played it for a bit, and I was kind of done with it. I think the only reason I stuck around with Overwatch was because of the variation to the characters, and it allowed me to get good at the game by playing characters with a lower skill ceiling and all that. Fortnite feels pretty much like you just have to be good at shooters, and shooters for shooters' sake are not my favorite types of games to play. But I love the idea of all the skins and everything. It just feels weird starting from this far back and having to like build up my collection of skins. And will I even get Marshall Mathers is my question.
Right. Well, you can always pay for them.
Still?
You'd have to check the store every day. They do a good job of doing that where you're like, oh, it's on. Okay.
Can you sell your skins in Fortnite?
You just have a collection.
That would be... I'm surprised they don't let you do that.
To turn it into a marketplace?
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny that they don't, because you can still buy V-Bucks as the currency.
Yep.
And so I wouldn't know. I've never paid a single dollar for this game. But yeah, it is hilarious that you start going through all the skins you get, and because every time you open something new or, you level up, you get new stuff.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, you've got all these things that you need to see. And I'm like, I'm not. I am so, you have too many at one point. You go, I'm not going to go through it.
That happened to me at Overwatch as well. I had 100 unopened loot boxes and I just didn't care anymore. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So so we got that. And we'll do a Fortnite episode eventually.
We'll do a Fortnite episode eventually. And before we do that, before this conversation crashes and burns, we got to talk about all the crashing and burning that we did in Pilotwings for the Super Nintendo, Andrew, a game that neither you nor myself had played.
No.
I played the franchise. I played it on the N64. And we had weirdly, this is one of our more requested games that we've had on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people were interested in us giving this a shot. I wonder if I can even go back and see who would have requested it in the first place. Yeah. I wonder if I can.
I will say is that for people that requested it, thank you. Yes. That was an interesting game. Before we even say good or bad or whatever, it was something Mikey and I played for a while and tried to keep doing it. We just kept going let's do one more. Okay, well, let's do one more.
Yeah.
And I found that to be always kind of a recipe for success inside this podcast is when we just can't put it down. And there's been bad games that we have done that for.
Yes.
But there's clearly something in the recipe that works for that.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's bad and the obsession with finishing it comes from a bad place. But in this one, it was as soon as we played, I understood what it was asking for us. There was one exception, I think, which we'll get into in a little bit, of the skydiving where I was like, I just don't understand what this game wants of me. We also have to leave a little bit of space for the fact that these games typically come with instruction manuals, so we can look some of that stuff up.
But it's not like we didn't understand the buttons, or the layout. We understood what to press. We just didn't understand
the movement and momentum.
Yeah. God, I feel sore. I laughed so hard there. I feel I feel off. I feel like I'm high.
Oh man. We get loopy when we do the gameplay segments because we usually play them for close to an hour and then we start recording. So we've already got some of the weirdness out of the way.
It becomes a weirdly 4-hour day of recording. Yes, yeah. And then you're like, and by the end you're just punchy.
You get a little bit punchy. So this is a game that came out on December 21st, 1990 on the Super Nintendo in Japan and in North America on August 13th, 1991 to coincide with the launch of the Super Nintendo. So a launch title. It was also a launch title when the N64 came out in 1996, was Pilotwings. It was directed by Tadashi Sugiyama and produced by Shigeru Miyamoto. Sugiyama was also the director on F-Zero and played a lot of roles in the development of other games. What?
I just always think about the quote with F-Zero. We're going I don't even know if they can go faster. And I just think if you haven't, go listen to our F-Zero quote. Man. But there's a quote where they're going thousands of kilometers an hour because there's a little speedometer in the corner. And just them going we'd have to check with the scientists. Can they go faster? I don't know.
It was a Miyamoto quote where he said he doesn't think that cars could move faster. And it's
in the game.
Just say that they're you could say in Mario Kart, they're going 3,000
kilometers. 2 billion miles per hour. Who the fuck cares? You could create a new conversion rate. It doesn't even matter. And the fact that he takes these so seriously and so realistic that to him, it's these things do happen. So he's I don't even know.
It's ultimately probably why he's a great game designer, but it's still fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So it was, I mentioned it was followed up on the N64 with Pilotwings 64. We also had a release in 2011 of Pilotwings Resort, which was marginally received. It was, I feel like the franchise had kind of died out at that point. It had been at that point 15 years or so since the 64 version came out. It was developed by Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, which is also led by Shigeru Miyamoto, responsible for games like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, Doki Doki Panic, F-Zero, Super Mario Kart, etc., etc., etc. It's one of the OG Nintendo development houses before they all kind of came wrapped into one. And they've got quite a good pedigree. This game, maybe no exception to that.
100%. So in short,
yes,
you were trying to get your pilot's license.
That's what you got to do.
That's what you do to get your wings.
Yeah.
Got to get your wings. So you at home, if you've never played this game, you think, I got to get my pilot's license. Okay. So what am I going to do? Maybe you learn to, sit in the cockpit, learn the instruments.
Sure. You got to learn that.
Right. Of course. Maybe you learn how to taxi around a little bit just to make sure you know how the plane moves. Okay.
Yeah. Like this. Underrated, but you got to learn how to control that.
You get maybe a glider and you learn the up and downs and stuff like that. The first thing they ask you to do is land a plane.
Gotta land the plane.
Is land a plane. Second thing they ask you to do inside of lesson 1 is skydive.
Skydive. In case you can't land the plane.
Those are the things they teach you in your first lesson.
Lesson 1, they take you up in the air and the pilot says, your turn. And you got to imagine the number one thing you have to do, apart from the taxiing and everything, you have to learn how to take off.
Yes.
Right?
Why would landing be the first thing?
The first thing you have to do.
Yeah, like your co-pilot, your instructor, takes an Elliot-style nap and just goes like, I'll figure it out. And like, whatever. And you're like, oh my God. So those are the first two things you do. Crazy. The third, second lesson, you're like, well, this is gonna make more sense. Now I learned to take off. No. You're also gonna learn to land again, but this time you also are strapped to a rocket pack.
Yeah, you got to learn the jetpack thing. That's important. A lot of people, like, I know, people talk shit about Delta and Spirit Airlines and all that stuff, but each and every one of those pilots has to learn how to skydive and how to operate a jetpack. You got to learn both of those things.
So anytime that you see like a Castaway style UPS pilot.
Yes.
I think that was FedEx in that actually. FedEx?
Okay. Yeah, UPS never would have crashed that plane.
No, they're too good.
Yeah.
You're reliable. We trust Brown.
We do.
Is that pilot that flies that huge cargo plane can also rocket pack and skydive. They have to get their license.
Otherwise, how are you going to get your license?
Right?
I wouldn't trust if I met a pilot, and I hope one day I do. I truly hope
one of the best days of your life.
One of the greatest days.
Tears in your eyes.
Saluting. Shake them in the eyes. I could
shake them in the eyes, huh?
I could shake them in the eyes. I meet them in their office.
Just grab his skull, just shake it around.
Treat it like a magic 8 ball. I ask it a question. Its eyes roll back. It's like,
how good are you at skydiving? And you shake his head.
I look over at his desk. There's a folded American flag.
Sir, thank you for your service.
He says, thank you for flying. I have the option to either say you're welcome or go fuck your family. No, I would ask them. I would say, before I get on this airplane with you, can you operate a jetpack? Yeah. And I don't care if they say those things aren't real, they don't exist yet. I don't believe that.
That's a lie they're telling you.
Yeah, because the mainstream media won't tell you that jetpacks do exist and all pilots have to operate them.
And on every domestic flight, they have to have one on board.
They do.
So you got to go find it.
One person gets the jetpack.
This is how we get arrested because somebody was going to go nuts on a plane. Like, where's the jetpack? And they're like, well, I sourced it back to this strange video game podcast.
We're playing, they play this episode in a deposition. There's like 20 minutes of us talking about folded American flags. Are like, when do we get to the thing about jetpacks?
Oh, so they're anti-American too. It's like, oh crap.
I think they're everything. Damn, they're really hard to pin down at this point.
So this is supposed to be entertaining, right? Yep.
Yeah. No. You just trust me. You got to get into it. There's 300 other episodes you could listen to if you really want to get into it. So it's very strange that the things that you have to do to get a license in this are landing a plane, operating a jetpack, skydiving. There's also hang gliding.
Yep.
There's a bonus thing that you can do where you're operating an attack helicopter,
right?
Which feels like the antithesis of this game. This feels more like Soothe-core gaming, where you're just kind of like hey, go land this plane and we'll give you a rating on it.
Yeah, like the what's that the pilot game that everyone that gets big rings.
Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator. Yeah. Thank you. That's like a very relaxing game for people.
Yes.
Not the way we played it, but no. I'm amazed. The biplane makes total sense. The light plane, they call it. I totally understand why that makes sense. Helicopter feels like a natural thing, even though I know that's a completely different license.
Okay, you know what though? You could, I think, take the mechanics of the jetpack in this game and apply that to a helicopter skin, and it would work really, really well.
Yes, I completely agree.
The jetpack was kind of my favorite part of this game, where you angle where you want your propellers to kind of face, and then you feather thrust, and it'll shoot you in whichever direction your thrusters are facing, which feels kind of like you feather a helicopter. Maybe, I know you're supposed to be able to hover, but in video game logic, I feel like that would translate well.
Yeah, which is crazy because I would imagine helicopter is tough to like a realistic piloting a helicopter is tough to transfer into a video game.
Yeah.
Whereas like Flight Simulator, they say is like, no, that's like, you could train to be a pilot. Off of that. Like you could fly a plane, which, as you know, and as people who listen to this podcast know, Mikey and I don't need to do that.
No, we don't.
We're very confident that we got this. Yeah, we could land a plane, no problem.
We're not so bold as to say if someone asks for a doctor on board, we're not raising our hand.
No.
But if, and I truly hope we get the chance, if after meeting that pilot, he's so shook by my line of questioning, he refuses to land the plane, I'm gonna knock on that door. I'm gonna say, bud, I got this.
Take a break.
Take a break.
You deserve this.
Yeah.
What?
Take a break. Go take a jetpack lesson. How about that?
Yeah. See you later. Goes off the back. I'm totally with you. I wonder though, the Flight Simulator thing, like, I don't know. Every once in a while, I just think about like older gaming.
Yeah.
I wonder how I'm going to age into video gaming.
I think about that all the time.
And like, cause I don't think it's like one day I'm like, well, That's it for me. See you later. I think we grew up in a generation where this is just kind of part of life.
Yeah.
And I think about Flight Simulator as just one of those games where I'm like, and then I just kind of flew to Peru today.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. Because I think eventually we're going to play games like Fortnite and Overwatch, and we're going to keep placing bronze or something. I'm like, I don't think I'm good enough to play this game anymore. Yeah. I want to be competitive. Whereas something like Flight Simulator, you just throw it on. Like imagine getting yourself a setup with like a joystick, just like drinking a coffee and flying to Peru. Yeah. It'd be amazing.
I would do that all the time. And I would do like, it is like having a model train. Yes. Like it is a lot like that where you go like, good morning, everybody. This is flight 7461.
You got a good pilot voice.
Flying out of you know what? You just got to mumble yourself as much as possible. Yeah. And it's just like, all right, you're going to go see and what is it? Watch out for the ostrich. And here we go.
Watch out for the
ostrich.
Why are there?
Well, I don't know. Because you didn't hear the first part and then you don't hear the second part. And you kind of like, everyone does that thing where they just like glaze over and they're like, and of course that is Antarctica. And you're like, what the hell? Did I hear Antarctica? Yeah, okay. Have a great day.
Fly there to get to New York City.
Yeah. I also love, this is just my other pilot thing that I just love. And they're like, we're a little slow on the tarmac here. We're going to make it up in the air. And you always go like, that's an option?
That's an option.
Why are we gunning it the whole time?
We were my player one and I were on a flight and we were like an hour and a half delayed in taking off and we landed early. And I'm like, just do that always. Why are you taking your time with this?
Even economically for them, a famously profitable industry, the airline industry, why wouldn't that just be an option to hurry things along?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's insane.
Not when I do Flight Simulator, I'll tell you that. It's gunned down, like throttle to the floor.
See, Flight Simulator would be great if there was also like a management element to it where you could run your own aircraft. That'd be great. And you're like, wow, these guys really, it is hard to make money when all the CEOs make billions of dollars a year.
Yeah. Screws are expensive. Let's put less of them in the plane. Yes. It's the Boeing simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. This is technically, thought of as an early flight simulator. It was using the Super Nintendo's famous Mode 7, which was also, a Donkey Kong Country thing where you had these kind of 3D textures. It really gave you the feeling, like successfully, I'd say, on the Super Nintendo of moving around in 3D space. When I was playing this game, I almost felt like it could have been on the N64. With the limited graphical fidelity, it was very clearly like 2D models kind of like layered on top of each other. But did you get that feeling? Like it felt like we were moving in 3D space for the most part?
It's I would say 90% of the time it works really well. Yeah. Then 10% of the time is when you are not
very close
to it. It all of a sudden kind of loses perspective and you go, wait, how close am I?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to blame. We had trouble landing the plane. And that's the video game's
People say that about our podcast a lot as well, too.
That's the video game's fault because clearly we're very good at landing planes.
Yeah, we know we could. I know some people think this is a bit. Mm-hmm. I really think I would have a better chance landing a plane in real life than
in a real plane. Yes, I completely agree with you. And it's because as you approach, you start going like, okay, I'll just pull down here a little bit. And then you go, and we're here. It's like, oh my God, Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has that trouble with the graphics because for the most part, the 3D does work really well as you're flying or plummeting through rings, that kind of works really well. But then all of a sudden, sometimes you get close to the ring and you're like, wait, is it not? Wait, am I in front of it? Like,
100%, especially with the jetpack. This does have the feeling of they really wanted to sell copies based on how impressive the graphics were. Mm-hmm. But typical retro game thing where the difficulty is determined by the impossibility of controlling the game properly, where it's not hard because like Dark Souls, you're not memorizing the enemy patterns and that's on you. This is kind of hard because it gets very difficult to control things at close distances. Like you said in this game, that's where the difficulty spike comes. So that I did find frustrating. However, for the most part, I felt like if you give me another shot, I can do this. Like, and that's a key to it. The first time I picked this up, I knew what it was asking me to do. If I were confused by the controls, I eventually knew that if I kept going at it, I'd be able to do it. And pretty much every time we played, because the way that you do this, you have the different levels where you have like 2, 3, or 4 tests that you have to do, and you have to amass a certain amount of points over the course of those tests in a row. Every time we did it, I feel like our score got higher and closer to that threshold of passing, as opposed to sometimes we would get 100 where we needed 150, and sometimes we get 75. And it felt like we were always getting better, which was a good feeling.
So in each round or each lesson, they're saying you have to get a minimum score that's cumulative of the 3 activities.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, oh, you passed flying. Good job. You passed skydiving. Good job. No, you had to kind of do relatively well in all of them.
Yes.
And that was the issue because skydiving was very tough for us. Rocketeering or Rocket Man stuff, jetpack, easy.
That was very easy for us.
We did very well with that one. And then The flying the plane, mixed bag.
Mixed bag, but weirdly, the first time we did it in the first level, we landed it without an issue.
No
and then
issue.
For some reason after that, I don't know if they gave us a worse plane or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was really hard for us to land the plane. The flying portion was easy. Landing it was tough, which we know is not the way we would be treated if we were landing planes.
No, they would be applauding us. It'd be like the end of Top Gun. You know, everyone just coming out and cheering, holding each other's shoulders.
We'd be hugging our rivals.
Yes, and you can be my wingman any day.
You can be my wingman any day.
Yeah, no, they give you the plane though that like Randy Quaid fights in Independence Day.
Yes,
like that level of like it's either that or we're gonna bust some crops. Like it's like
yeah.
You know. Not really built for excellence or built for maneuvering.
Not really, but in spite of the kind of weird controls and stuff, I feel like if we kept at it, we would have gotten it. And because of that, I think there's something to be said about the mechanisms at play in the game being good and like giving the player enough control to know that they can succeed with enough success, or sorry, with enough attempts.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, like so, like we said, we kept trying over and over and over again. Unfortunately, we failed.
We did, but this game didn't fail when it came out. You want to talk a little bit about reception? What this game got? So it got a Metacritic score of 82% total, which is pretty solid. EGM gave it a 7.75. Game Informer gave it an 8.25. IGN a 7.5. Nintendo Life a 7. Game Informer, I just want to shout them out. They always seem to be like close to that average rate. They just really seem to have their finger on the pulse.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So this is the area where we do the reception.
Yes.
Can we call it the reception area?
I don't know what else we'd call it.
Are you the receptionist?
What
do you think about that?
Personally, I love it.
Thank you.
I think it suits me really well.
What do you think, Elliot? Still,
Elliot's not giving us. He's giving us nothing. But what do you think about my new pencil skirt?
I think you look pretty cute, and it'd be nice if you smiled more.
Andrew, I like being a receptionist, and I think you make a very good boss.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Raise.
Around the time that this game came out, that would have been a very passable comment.
Yeah, because it's so funny where you see the plane. Yeah, that's true. You see the plane. Well, first of all, pilot's exclusively a male position in his job. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Is that you see the plane, you're like, oh, so this is like the 50s? And then a rocket pack, a jetpack, and you're like, so this is also the future.
Oh, the 2050s. Okay, I get this.
Yeah, it's Jetsons. Yeah, Jetsons. Level, yeah.
I also want to point out Games Master, which was a publication at the time in 1996, so a few years after this game came out, said that Pilotwings was the 30th best game of all time.
Wow.
And imagine being like the person who wrote that article being like, oh God, video games are going to change quite a bit. I don't think the 30th best game of all time that has aged very well for this.
No, I completely agree with you. I think it's the same thing that you always say, like if you gave like Baja Blast to a guy from 1910, he would just his brain would melt out his ears. I think it's the same thing. Like you bring up a modern video game to 1996, and they're like, "What
the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Although if you gave someone Death Stranding back in 1996, I think they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to stick with like my Super Ghouls and Ghosts."
This game is confusing and on the nose.
There's no way there'd be a pandemic and couriers would become the staple of our society.
You're telling me AMC is a channel? It's a TV channel? Yeah.
You know what? This game sucks, but I really can't wait for that ride show with Norman Reedus.
It's the biggest show on television, right? And you're like, yeah.
It must be. It's not the smallest. It apparently had like 6 seasons or something like that.
Is that true?
Yeah, something like that.
That's amazing.
So Andrew, general thoughts about the game then. You know, we talked about the controls kind of being wonky a little bit. You know, you not having any experience having played the game, do you have any general thoughts on what your impressions were from the beginning versus what you left off with at the end?
Yeah, like I liked playing it.
Yeah.
And that's like the big picture where you look at the whole overall score. You're like, well, it's probably going to get an okay score because at the end of the day, I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
But if you break it down for parts, you start going like, well, the graphics good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The sound is not that great. There was better sounding games back in the day. Like the visual fidelity of the game, like how you approach it and how you interact it. It wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's more cumulatively, I think it does better than it does in the individual parts.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's weird because I kind of think that when the game came out, I can imagine it being very impressive. I think there would have been a span of after 1995, after this game had kind of been forgotten a little bit, I bet you there would have been 15 years or so where you would look back on a game like this as a bad game. But nowadays, I think there's a place for it in that kind of like bite-sized pick it up, try a couple challenges, and move on.
Yeah.
Like if this had like a Wordle type thing to it, where you had like 3 challenges to do in a day and you had to get a score and you only got to do it once a day, I feel like that would be supremely addicting. That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd want to sit down and play this for 2 hours in a row, though. 3 hours in a row. You know what I mean?
No, I think we were probably coming up on the barrier of it being annoying, not fun anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you.
So, but at the end of the day, we liked what we played.
Yeah.
And we did find a level of addicting. So, I'm kind of curious to see what the score is going to be.
Let's move into the scores. And before we do that, I don't know if we said this explicitly, but what we've described in the game, like passing your test, that is the game and that is the story. There is no story in this game.
There's
beyond
no practice. There's no whatever. It's literally tests.
You don't beat the game and then find out Ender's Game style you've actually been flying and crashing real planes this whole time. That's that's not what this is.
It'd be so terrifying.
It would be terrifying. So Andrew, it's been a while since we've talked about this. I think we did it on the Dune episode about a month ago or so, but typically what we do when we have these video games on the podcast is we take a look back at these games that we either remember or we don't, but they're from back in the day. We rate and review the game based on what we think we would have thought about it, had we played it as little kids. Obviously, we played the game, we give it a rating of what we did think about it. That's out of 4 bits. And then we give it another ranking of how the game holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games like our MLB The Shows, like our Pacific Drives. Yes. So Andrew, why don't you start us off? If you had been playing this game when it came out, launch title with the Super Nintendo, take us back. What is little baby Andrew thinking about this game?
I wonder how I would think about this game considering the year it comes out in and my age relative to when I would have played it. Yeah. We kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago with the Genesis draft. Mm-hmm. I had a Sega Genesis. I loved Sega Genesis. I loved Sonic and going fast and stuff like that. And man, is this like an opposite game of that.
Right.
That game is colorful and the music is addictive and whatever. And this is all about like precision.
Yes.
And I don't know if that is something I would have loved as a kid.
True.
I don't think it's a bad game. So I don't think I would have been like, I hate this. Yeah. But I just don't think I would have been going for it the same way that I would have been going for other modern games. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
A 2.5? Nice. I come from this basically from the exact same angle you're coming at it from. As a kid, I didn't like Gran Turismo. As a kid, I didn't like Flight Simulator. As a kid, I didn't like Pilotwings 64 even. I didn't like any game that had like realistic physics to it that I had to treat as though I were actually playing a game. Nowadays, I respect that. I think it's really cool that you're getting close to the actual mechanics of flying a plane, relatively speaking. But as a kid, I don't think I would have liked that because, like you said, I want to be doing loop-de-loops as a hedgehog.
Yes.
I don't want to be accurately jumping out of a plane and landing within a set little area. Even a game like American Gladiators, which had that kind of appeal to it, never appealed to me that much as a kid because it just ultimately felt like I was doing real life things.
Right.
And that wasn't what interested me back in the day. I didn't have the patience to perfect it. I didn't think there was the flash of making me feel like I was doing something I couldn't do in real life because even back then I knew I could land a plane. I'm actually going to go a step lower. I think I would have given this game a 2 out of 4 had I played it way back in the day.
Yeah, you want to play Road Rash, not motorcycles.
That's exactly
what I mean? I want to hit someone with a chain. And motorcycle.
And without getting suspended from school again.
Right, exactly.
Because
it wasn't the motorcycle in the school. It was hitting my teacher with a chain.
That's the thing that I here's the thing. Yeah. You want to give me homework so that I can't play Road Rash when I get home? Well, guess what? I'm taking my chain whipping out on you.
I'm going to bring Road Rash to you.
I'm bringing Road Rash to the schoolroom.
Oh, you're not allowing me to play Road Rash. Well,
okay.
You won't believe this sense of irony. Which was part of our homework.
I'm taking this iron bar to your leg, I think, your kneecap.
All right, so a 2.5 and a 2 for a 4.5 out of 8.
Yeah.
And then our modern day scores.
Yeah.
This is where I differ.
Yes.
As a modern day boy, which I like to think of myself as.
Oh, you're very much a modern day boy.
Yes, 100%. Is that
you dropped your iPad.
I dropped my iPad?
Yeah, your modern piece of technology, you dropped it.
Uh-oh, let me go pick up. Very sexy.
Oh, as you're picking it up, I see poking out of your pocket that pager.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a modern day boy with my pager.
Modern boy.
I got to go find a payphone because somebody just paged me.
Uh-oh. Here's 25 cents.
Oh, 25 cents.
Pink.
Payphones don't exist anymore, right?
I don't think so. I'm sure they do somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't know who's using them.
They
probably cost $3.50.
Yeah, with inflation.
Yeah.
Thanks,
like
Bible.
Nowadays, if you said, here's a quarter, call someone who cares, they'd be like, what am I going to use this for?
What do I do with the quarter?
They start talking into it.
Yeah.
Like, hello?
Is this like a magic quarter? Or do I eat it? Okay, modern day boy. I liked this game. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yes, it is not perfect. Yes, it is. Would you describe the graphics as bad? Yeah, possibly. But but like I'm saying, it's the whole of the process here that I think this just results in a very fun and addictive game. Its jankiness adds to the fact that the precision is so much harder.
Yeah.
It makes the difficulty that much harder and makes you want to keep coming back for it. I liked playing this game.
Yep.
And I'm going to give it a 3, but I almost gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, it's more on that side. It's more a 3.25 than a 3.
I agree with that. I think that there's such an appeal and a, kind of like a nostalgia factor, I guess, but
right.
like this game almost feels like a way to look back on nostalgia without it being abrasive.
Yeah.
Like the way that we loved Resident Evil growing up, but can't play the original Resident Evil anymore because the controls are terrible. This feels like a peek into what games were like, but not being limiting in terms of like, I can control this game.
Yeah.
It controls the way I would expect it to, even though it's a D-pad in 3D space. I really enjoyed it as well. And I think the benefit of being able to determine whether I play this for 4 minutes or 40 minutes is a huge plus. You know, in this day of modern emulation, you can kind of just play it however you want. If I had to pay $80 for it, might be a different story. But I agree. I'm also kind of leaning between a 3 and a 3.5. I don't know that I necessarily want to go 3.5 because I think there's a better version of this game on the N64 that controls a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we'll do that soon as well to see how they compare. But I'm right there with you for a 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Wow. Okay, so a 4.5 and a retro score is in the 6, and our current scores gets us to a 10.5 out of 16. Which, you know what? Yeah.
I think that's
okay. Yeah.
I think that's fitting. I think it deserves that. I could see someone giving it a little bit more, especially obviously if they played it as a kid,
that's right.
or back in the day and actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. Which is totally that is well within their rights.
They can do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
Just don't tread on me.
Or me.
Or Andrew.
Don't tread on us.
Don't tread on us.
That's a new. That's what we're gonna put as a bumper sticker on our mech.
Tread on neither he nor I.
Yes. This mech doesn't have treads, so don't tread on us.
That's a good one.
It only took me 20-something minutes.
Well, but I already said the don't tread on me thing.
Okay, you know what? Like, why you got to take my happy moment and take it from me?
What about this?
Yeah.
Don't make contact with this Zemeckis.
Wow. Okay. I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Because Robert Zemeckis directed the movie Contact.
Yeah, that's why I assumed it was.
And mech is within Zemeckis.
Oh, that's the part I didn't
They
get.
handed it out as like a free promo bumper sticker for mechs.
Right.
At the screening of Contact.
Right.
Don't make contact with this Zemeckis.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Are we still sticking with my other
it has
mech is a Gundam?
Mech is a Gundam. That is the clear runaway winner. If you have a mech pun that you'd like to make a bumper sticker for, no promises that we actually will do it. Let us know.
Yeah.
At Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy, at Retrograde Pod.
Or the Retrograde Podcast at gmail.com. What about one more? I got one more.
Yeah, what's that?
What about like ironic? You go like, my other mech is a Corolla.
Right.
Just like this one's cool. You would put it on a Ferrari, like my other car's a Toyota or something like that.
That's good. I like that. Classic Ferrari bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Do you hear music?
Do I hear music?
Yeah.
Oh God, Andrew, we're late for the rewards.
Oh my God, we need to get going.
Let's go over to the red carpet. We'll meet you over there.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous awards ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that was a lot of running.
I should have. Oh, fuck. I forgot the mech back there.
Oh, my. Yeah, we should have just jumped in our mechs.
We should have jumped in the mechs, but I think I'm not getting in that until we have the bumper stickers on because that's a real good advertising technique.
100%. It's so ugly without the bumper sticker.
It's so ugly without the bumper sticker.
Elliot!
Oh, what about this?
Go away.
Go away, Elliot. It's Bumblebee, but it's a bumper sticker. There's got to be something there.
Bumper B.
Bumper B. Or how about this? I ain't a transformer. Don't ask me to change. I ain't a transformer.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Because a lot of people probably think mechs are transformers. They can turn into a truck.
I want to say this, and I want everyone to know that there's love in my heart when I say it. What if it said trans rights and it's the symbol for the Decepticons or something like that?
That'd be pretty good,
right?
Yeah. Well, maybe not Decepticons because that then feels like there's a little mouse. Maybe the Autobots.
Autobots. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
Autobots.
Autoabotic asphyxiation. Is that a thing?
When you strangle a transformer until they climax. Yes.
Until they Decepticon.
That is so fucking good. Okay.
Decepticon is when you're like, no, I came, babe. Trust me.
Oh, wow.
Is that Night Scream?
Yeah. Which, when you think about it,
is his throat hurting because he had a belt attached to it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Holy fuck. All right, Elliot, please help us get out of this conversation.
Oh, Elliot, you got to let us know what awards this game won.
Just you're on your own.
The Wine Cellar. Oh, sorry,
no,
Andrew. I think I've forgotten my bottle of
no.
Petit Grigio in the mech, in the hat box of my mech.
Yeah.
Why is one a glove compartment and one a hat box? I think in the UK it's a hat box.
It's a hat box as a glove compartment?
I think so.
Let us know, UK listeners.
Or maybe they just have hat boxes.
Wow. Wow. That feels I like to think that I'd go over to my mech and like tap it twice and it would open like a wine cellar. Oh yeah, that's good. What are you drinking?
It's corked.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is fucking corked.
Return this swill.
Take this shit out of my hand. I don't want it anymore. Mm-hmm. I just had to have the rest to know that it's good.
Oh yeah, throw the glass. I love that.
The Wine Cellar obviously is the award that we give when the current score is better than the retro score.
Yeah, which this one pretty comfortably does it.
Aged like a fine wine.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah.
Better. So, and I don't know. Does that say more about the game or more about us?
I think it says more about us.
Yes, I agree.
And also just gaming in general. I think when you're a kid, you want something a little bit more flashy. You know, I wasn't playing NBA Live 95. I was playing NBA Jam. Similar kind of thing.
That's true. You know, but you love NBA Live 95.
And you
did
hate
not.
it.
I did not like that very much at all.
Or Space Jam. Because I also wiped the floor with you on that one.
I liked Space Jam, I thought.
No, I beat your butt.
Oh, no, I've no doubt you beat me. I'm just saying I thought I liked it.
Well, I don't think you like it when I beat you, do you?
No, that's the reason I didn't like NBA Live.
What about this? Do you like this?
Yes.
Wow.
That's so good. Well, this episode's been all over the place. You know, I hope you enjoyed it because God knows I did. My face hurts from laughing.
It hurts.
But we love every single one of you. We can't wait to talk to you soon. This podcast is fucking awesome. I love it so much. We'll talk to you soon. This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over. Well, I'm Mike Aaronworth in this.
Oh, my name is Andrew Baskin. With me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast somehow.
Game over. And remember, don't make contact with my Zemeckis.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
You don't compare yourself to Christ lightly?